All right, solving proportions. Yesterday we learned what a proportion is. So, Chuck, what is a proportion?
A proportion is two unit rates that are equal.
Two unit rates that are equal. Okay. What else is it?
Fancy word for two ratios that equal.
Two ratios that equal. What else is it?
Two equal rates.
We already said two equal rates. That's good. And we've had two equal ratios.
Fancy word.
What else is it? Yes, ma'am? We can prove two things are equal. Okay. What else?
They're said to be proportional or have proportionality.
Well, I want it to make it very, very easy. You're right. What else is a proportion?
A fraction that's equal.
Fractions that are equal. That's the common thing we say. But those other things you said are correct also. But very simply it is two equal fractions. And we also discussed that two equal fractions we've already done this year when we did equivalent fractions. And so today, technically, we've already worked before when we were working with equivalent fractions. We're just calling it solving proportions.
Just different naming.
Different naming. But I don't want you to freak out on this. The first part is very easy because it's just like what we did a few weeks ago. The hard part is when we get to the story problems and dealing with it. So, let's get on. Solving proportions, solving props. There is a missing part. Did y'all notice that? 4 over 5 equals 28 over x. We've seen that before. When we were dealing with equivalent fractions, we had problems exactly like this. We said what would go in place of the x to make them equivalent fractions. Today, we're just saying solve the proportion. It's exactly the same. There's a missing part. Find what it is. That's all we're doing when we solve proportions. We're trying to find what is the missing part. And Brother Tuck remembers equivalent fractions. When we have a missing part, what do?
PhD.
P-H-D. That's the Jordanism. And what does that mean?
Play how did.
Play how did. And whatever you did, you do the exact same thing to the other part. Correct? So, let's come over here and let's work these that are just plain old ratios that equal with a missing part. Solve the proportion. And we're going to do it PhD. Now, later on in your math careers, you're going to see some ratios, some proportions with missing parts that you cannot PhD. You have to solve them algebraically. We're not going to do those today. We're going to do those later this year when I start introducing algebra to you. Okay? Everybody with me on that? We will see it again, and they'll be the kinds that don't work with PhD. We have to do a different method. So, here we go. Let's just PhD this. How did 4 turn into 28?
Times 7.
Times 7. So what do we do now?
Times 7.
Times 7 to the bottom.
35.
35. Now we write our answer
Off to the side.
off to the side. The x equals 35. If 35 is in place of x, we will have a proportion or equivalent fractions, equivalent ratios, equivalent rates. Okay? Those all mean the same thing. All right, let's go to the next one. How did 10 turn into 20? This is some hard stuff. Times 2. Now come up to the top. Put the times 2 right above I've had students every year take the times 2 here and move it over here. You do it to the same fraction. In this case, we have to think a little bit different. What times 2 will give me 16?
8.
So y equals 8. A little different thinking. And we got to be careful.
Can't you also divide 20 divided by 10?
You could go the other direction. Brother Ron, since the y's in the front, let's move this direction. How does 20 turn into 10? It got divided by 2, so divide by 2 there and you get 8. Ron is correct. If you want to do it that way. Good job, Ron. Way to go. He works towards wherever the variable is. Since the variable's here, we work towards it. Since the variable there, he worked towards it that way. And that is a great way to do it. Your choice. How does 12 turn into 4?
Divide by 20.
Ooh, this one wasn't a times one. It was a divide by. So do the bottom, divide by 3. Double U
Equal 5.
equal 5. The numbers get smaller, it's got to be divided. Numbers get larger, it's got to be multiplied. Never add and subtract on proportions. It's always multiply or divide. And the last regular one, 7 turns into 21 times 3. So times 3, C equals 18. Ho hum, pretty easy. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, we run into problems, though, where they're not going to be nice and just give us nice, simple, here's 2 equal fractions, let's find the missing part. They're going to stick all the information in a story. And I guarantee at least 2 problems on the tax test like these, maybe 3. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that we have to get tested in the however many is on there. Sometimes there's 46 questions, sometimes there's 52 questions. I don't know what it's going to be. But I guarantee you there's going to be at least 2 proportion story problems, maybe 3. But I know there'll be at least 2. And there might be an extra one in there because they just may go, well, I think we're going to give them another one. Alrighty? So these are very important how we do these. Because they're not going to give us nice, simple, solve this proportion. No, they're going to put the information in a story. And we've got to figure out, oh, this is a proportion problem. So I'm going to teach us how to recognize a proportion word problem. Okay? Of course, when we have a word problem, what's always the first thing we do? Underline what?
Keywords. Math words.
Math stuff. I'm just going to put math stuff. Is that okay? Underline math stuff. I know a lot of mathematicians don't like that, but that's all right. I call it math stuff. We're going to underline the math stuff. So we come over here and we read, in a class of 40 students, 12 chose football as their favorite sport. Based on this data, how many would choose football out of 160 students? Do you see any math?
Yes.
Where we see?
40 students.
All right, 40 students.
12 choose
12 chose
Football.
football. Okay? Blah, 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 blah. Based on this data.
How many?
Oh, there's the question. How many? That's our math question, isn't it? We're looking for how many. Okay, how many, blah, blah, blah. What?
Choose.
How many football
out of
out of
160.
160 students. So there's our math. Bing, 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 bing. What do you see here?
Ratio.
Ratio words. That usually means a fraction. So I'm going to automatically put me a bar down because the math stuff I saw tells me a fraction. When I see ratio words, remember us teaching you that? When we see ratio words, That means a fraction. All right. Okay, doke. If you see ratio words, it means fract, doesn't it? If you see ratio words, it means fracts. Okay? And I saw a ratio word, that means I got a fraction. Now, do you remember how we worked ratio words? What did we do?
Compare.
No. When we had ratio words, what did we do?
Divide by. Big number.
Oh, cross multiply.
Nope.
Take away.
Nope.
Out. Make them equivalent. Throw stuff. PhD.
Nope. Oh, you're disappointing me.
What does this mean?
That's what I want y'all to tell me. Y'all are the smart ones.
Equal to denominators?
Nope. Nobody's looking.
Behind the ratio.
Oh, come to me, Parker.
The number behind the ratio is on bottom.
Ratio what?
Word.
Thank you. So what's this?
Front. Behind.
Front and behind. Remember me saying that? If you got ratio words, look in front, then look behind. The one in front goes on top. The one behind it goes on the bottom. How soon we forgot that. That was last week. How quick we forgot that. Ratio words set up a fraction. Y'all told me a fraction. We got to figure out what goes on top and what goes on the bottom. And I told you the key to that is what is in front and what is in behind. So looking right here, what is in front of the out of?
Football.
Football. That's not a number, but I can write F for football, can't I? What's behind it? 160 what though? Students. Do we know the number for the football people?
Yes. No, sir.
No, we don't. We do not know. When we see these words right here, that's this fraction. We do not have a number for the football. When we don't have a number, what do we put, y'all?
A letter.
A letter. Can we use F representing our football?
Yes, sir.
And then we have 160 students. That's great. The problem is, I still got other information here, don't I?
Try another factor.
Oh, another frac bar. So, it means a fraction. So, fill in fract with info given. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Fill in the info, fill in the fraction with the info given. Of course, remembering the ratio words helps us do that. The ratio words help us do that.